It was only a few months ago that the EA CEO, Andrew Wilson, said there won't be an Apex Legends 2, but now they seem to be going back on what they said and come out with information suggesting they will do an Apex Legends 2 or a reimagination of Apex with an even more bigger, more meaningful experience for the game. So what's going on? What will Apex Legends 2 really be like, and what can we take from this for the future of the game? Well, perhaps the most important thing, if you're a fan of Apex Legends, is EA are not giving up on the game. They're not going to shut it down. They're not sunsetting it. And whilst they do admit that right now it's not performing as well as they had hoped, they are very aware of this fact, but they're actually going to double down on it as a series, and they want it to be around for a long, long time. So if you're an Apex Legends fan, this is the best kind of answer you could hope for. Whilst it may not be in the state that you want it to be right now, the fact that they're not giving up on it is really good news. So what can we expect for the future of Apex Legends then, and what does Apex Legends 2 really look like? Well, all of this comes from a recent earnings call where, once again, EA CEO Andrew Wilson had to come forward and say, look, Apex is not performing as good as it could do, but this is what we're going to do about it, right? That's not the kind of thing you want to say to investors, but despite that, he came across saying that, look, we still believe in Apex as an IP and we don't want to give up on it, which is really, really good. The specific things he said is, we've had over 200 million people play the game. However, the trajectory of the business of that franchise has not been headed in the direction that we have wanted for some time. Basically, that means it's not growing. It's not even having like a decent, healthy player base. It's kind of declining over the last year or two at this point. So they are admitting it. What are they going to do next? Well, apparently there are going to be 3 vectors to get Apex Legends back on track, and the first comes from supporting the tens of millions of people who play the game daily, with small updates that cover quality of life, anti-cheat, and all of the things that make the core experience great, as well as the creation of new content for that community. So what they're saying is they're going to keep maintaining content and quality of life changes for the current version of Apex Legends. You know, that's basically the same stuff we've all been used to: meta changes, anti-cheat updates, matchmaking adjustments. They recently did the thing announcing that they're going to be reducing the amount of visual clutter that happens from most guns in the next season. There's a lot of quality of life stuff coming out, and whilst the game isn't sort of like a ghost crew right now, it seems like they are sort of setting out the roadmap to basically keep Apex afloat for the time being, to keep existing players happy, but not necessarily super excited. Because there's one big milestone that they need to get past first before they can release the next big Apex Legends game or experience. The second phase will come in the form of a more meaningful update of Apex as a broad game experience. They want Apex Legends to be around for 10, 20, 30 years and growing. So yeah, they want to do an Apex 2.0, if you will. Those were his exact words, on a longer term horizon. And that this will not be the final incarnation of Apex. So what they're saying is they really believe in the IP. They want to do a version 2.0, or, a big rework, a big new experience for the game, whatever that may be, but not quite yet. Because first, they need to get Battlefield out. Yes, the new Battlefield is something they're going very, very hard on at the moment, so they need to get that out the door first before they say, look, it's time for Apex 2's time to shine. So what they said exactly here is, on top of a Battlefield launch, and so from a timing standpoint, I think it right now is that it should exist post-Battlefield. With Battlefield 6 expecting to release sometime in 2026, perhaps we can see an Apex 2 in 2027. That's probably the most likely time range for this. So basically, for the time being, from now until then, Apex is going to be pretty much what it has been for all this time. We're not necessarily going to get any massive major changes. It's going to be very much the same thing season over season, with new content coming here and there. New legends, new maps, new updates, that kind of stuff. Apex, as we know it, is not really going to change much until 2027. At that point, perhaps they'll bring out Apex Legends 2. Now, it may even be even later than that. 2027 is just an estimate on my guess. Now, we've seen this 2 thing happen before. We've seen it with Overwatch. We've seen it with other games where they'll slap a 2 on their game, re-release it, and not really do much with it to even make the two worth it. So I'm hoping in this case that that won't happen with Apex Legends. I hope that they understand the risks of kind of, going out with a new game, a sequel, and not really doing much with it to have it deserve the number 2 in the first place. And I think with their prior earnings call where they said they don't want to do an Apex Legends 2, definitely makes it clear that EA are understanding of the fact that not doing a good job of releasing a potential sequel-like experience for the game would just backfire for them. So hopefully Apex Legends 2 is something big, something grand, and something that feels really, really fresh for the Apex experience. So what could we expect? What kind of things could we potentially look out for? I mean, an overall engine upgrade could be on the table potentially, although taking it away from Source, the modified version that it's running right now, could change things up when it comes to movement and overall gameplay feel. So perhaps that's not something they'll do. Obviously, a lot of people would ask for them to move over to Unreal Engine, and I think that would definitely ease up the development flow and make it easier for them to release more content and make it a grander experience. Whatever they decide to put into the game would be easier to do on Unreal Engine. But then you may be saying goodbye to some janky movement tech that has become what we know and love today. So if we don't get an engine upgrade, then what could we even get in Apex Legends to make it worthwhile? Like, what could an Apex Legends 2 really be? We've already got a Battle Royale game. We've got sort of like an arena deathmatch style mode with mixtape. We've even got custom games. Well, they could lean further into the sandbox experience and give players tools to create their own game modes, just like they do in Fortnite and many other games out there these days. And that would definitely be most welcome. I think that would be great to have more custom experiences in our hands to kind of elevate what it's like to play Apex Legends. So that could be something they could definitely explore. I'm hoping, though, that perhaps they'll go more into the lines of focusing on the lore and the story and creating some more story-based experiences. I think that could be pretty cool. I think the core gunplay, movement, and overall legend abilities are what make Apex special, and not necessarily the Battle Royale format itself. Although, it's good fun to play Battle Royale, I think there's more about Apex that makes it stand out than just the Battle Royale format. So I do hope they experiment with different elements outside of Battle Royale, and perhaps that could be in some kind of co-op mode or wave-based gameplay or something, There are so many other different game modes out there and shooter genres out there that Apex could do really well with. Perhaps even a extraction shooter game mode. I mean, I personally enjoy that a lot myself, and though a lot of other people may not. So it really does come down to what can they create that the majority of Apex players are going to enjoy that's still big enough for them to say, hey, look, this is Apex 2. Kind of a hard question to answer, but they're planning to do it. So the future of Apex is looking quite interesting. What are your thoughts? Let me know, and I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio.